Hi everyone, my name is Mikhail. I represent today the Yandex company. It's one of the biggest Russian digital companies. First of all, I want to thank the Golden Pages for inviting me and my company here today to make a speech. In Yandex, we are helping, I work myself in Yandex International Department. We help advertisers globally to utilize Yandex services, help them to reach their customers if they are in Russia or if they speak Russian. Today, I'll tell you about how the internet in Russia looks like, what's generally the landscape, the marketing landscape, what is the Yandex position in this landscape, what solutions and tools we have to help our advertisers reach their goals, and present you like a small research we made especially for this event related to what Greek businesses interest Russian customers most. So let's start with internet in Russia. I guess that everyone here knows that Russia is a huge country, that it's huge even for a helicopter view. Indeed, it's the biggest country in the world, and what's really matter, and when you speak about the country which is that big, internet is what really matters, because it actually connects people. And Russia is not only the biggest country in terms of the land, the territory, it's also the biggest country in Russia, in Europe, in terms of the online population. So with the penetration of 71%, it makes Russia the biggest online populated country. And if you compare it to the rest, to most of the biggest internet countries in Europe, you'll see that the penetration is not that big. So this figure will continue growing. And if we look on their internet penetration by region, we'll see that the reason for that not very big number in terms of the penetration is not because their active internet users are focused in some central region of Russia. That's not true, because the internet population in Russia is spread evenly throughout the country. So what's the reason for that low population? The answer is the age, because younger population from 12 to 44 years old are penetrated almost 100%. They are active internet users, while the older generation, 45 plus, are penetrated only 69%. So it's like clear that with years, those who are now in those two groups will be moving to the right of the slide, to this older generation group, increasing the penetration of internet and thus increasing the number of active internet users online. Another interesting view is how changed the device usage with years. If we go back 10 years ago, we'll see that people used to share devices. It were more than one person per each device, while now one person uses 2 or 3 devices, and if it comes to unique device IDs, so it's even more. The average figure is 14 unique devices is now can be matched to a unique user, to one person. Let's now look on the device usage in Russia. So here we'll also see a radical shift. So on the first place, it's desktop. It's decreasing with time. As you know, it reflects the global trend that like smartphones are growing, and desktop is slightly decreasing. So as you see, most of their active online internet users use desktop and smartphone. Tablets and even smart TV accounts for no less than 14% nowadays. So if we look on the time spent online, we'll see that it's mostly spent on desktop and on mobile app. So mobile web actually accounts to only like 10% or even less, depending on the age of the user. So when once we know some basic info, the picture of Russian internet market, let's look how Russian advertisers utilize that. Here, the picture totally reflects the global trend. Traditional media declining, internet growing, and growing really fast. So this is how the shift looks like. So if we go back to year 2000, we'll see that traditional media is press dominated the market, and now the internet, which accounted to 0% back there in the year 2000, is now one of the dominant sources of advertising with 38% of share. The only thing is that TV is still among the leaders. If we look at this picture from a different angle, from the point of revenue generated per each source or advertising source, we'll see that first of all, 192 billion rubles of revenues of marketing budgets were utilized in first 3 quarters of 2017, actually from January to June. And by the latest update here is that by the results of 3 complete quarters of 2017, for the first time in history, internet hit the TV, and it got like more share in this advertising tool split. So this is to be a historical event, actually. And if we see the at the same time being one of the biggest and one of the main advertising solutions in internet is the fastest growing one. It actually grew 23% this year, which is the biggest figure. And if you go last year in Russia, and internet was actually the only one to grow at all. And if we go inside this internet thing, we'll see that paid search is actually one of the most money is spent on paid search, and with time this figure is only increasing. So a few words about Yandex. Yandex is the top search engine in Russia in the first place, with 55.6% of market share, followed by our main competitor Google with 39.7%. The rest of the market is split between some other local players. Actually, we started as a search company back in the 90s, but today we are much more than that. We own the biggest browser in Russia. We own their #1 taxi service in Russia, one of the leading marketplace, and many, many other services. All together, they give us access to more than 88% of active online users in Russia. We also have some presence outside Russia, mostly in CIS countries, Russian-speaking CIS countries. We have solid market share in Belarus. It's more than 30% in Kazakhstan and some others. We also have 4% of market share in Turkey. All in all, it makes us one of the largest European internet companies with capitalization almost $11 billion on NASDAQ. We have 6,000 employees in 16 different offices. We have offices in the United States, in China, and in some European countries as well. So in terms of advertising solution, so we offer a wide range of products, but among the main ones, it's Yandex Direct, our PPC ad platform, Yandex Metrica, it's our analytical tool, Yandex Audiences, which is our DMP system, and Yandex Display, which is CPM-based ad platform. I want just to say a couple of words about the first two, as they are main traffic, as Yandex Direct is actually #1 traffic source in Russia. It's trusted by by almost 700,000 advertisers from multiple verticals. So like any other PPC, it allows you, it gives you access to, it allows you to get user acquisitions, generate leads, get app installs, and many other things. So Yandex Direct makes sure that potential customers see you when they browse the internet or when they make a relevant search query. So this is basically how ads look like on search and in ad networks. For targeting, you can use actually whatever works best for you, starting with keywords. You can make retargeting, like getting access to those who visited your site already, or you can retarget custom segments using your existing customers' data, like mobile phones, numbers, or emails, and some others. For app installs, you can target users interested in specific app categories. This is what multiple formats we support. So it's like starting with simple text and image ads to graphic banners, dynamic banners, and even video banners, which is automatically generated from text ads. As for pricing, you pay only for click. It's auction-based. We built an advanced fraud protection system to filter out bot traffic and fraudulent click. The bidding can be automated, as we have CPA strategy and even ROI strategy. And we support pretty much all the third-party bidders existing. So Yandex Metrica, it's our analytical tool. It's actually second largest web analytical system in the world, which is installed on more than 8 million of websites. It gives you insights on what's happened on your website. So it's traffic analysis, user behavior insights, and like using all this data, you can improve your PPC campaigns. What is important about Metrica is real time. It allows you to make user-centric segmentation, use various attribution models, and even upload offline conversions to match them with online activity. We have a session record and replay tool so that you can actually use what happens on your website, what users do on your websites, what potential problems you have with your website which prevent them from making conversions. And the last part, which is might be most interesting to you, it's how Russian clients see Greece in general and Greek businesses. So what we did here is we analyzed a list of searches made by Russian customers for the past year to see which segments of Greek businesses they're interested most. We try to take into consideration only, to say so, commercial searches, like those which reflect some kind of intent to buy something, to buy a product or a service, something like that. So here's what we got. These are top 15 categories coming from search queries. Almost half of all searches are related to Greek islands, and it's followed by 5 most popular categories, which are all related to travel segment. So, which is actually obvious because Greece is the second most popular travel destination for Russian people. So let's have a closer look. Among the top 10 islands, Crete is the most popular one, with almost 6 million search queries for the past year, followed by Rhodes, Corfu, Santorini, and others. if we look on next popular type of search queries, we'll see that they are all related to tourism, which actually explains that like the summer is for tourism in Russia, so you see spikes from each year on the starting in the mid of spring until the mid of autumn. Once again, most of these tourist-related search queries are also connected to Yandex, to Greek islands. Still, the other types of search queries also have, to say so, huge search volume, because this chart is in tens of millions. Real estate and furs are among non-travel categories. They're worth mentioning because they are most popular among non-travel search categories. And in the end of the list, we can see food, stores, cosmetics, and icons. Actually, the interesting thing is that most of these queries might not be exactly might not be related to Greece geographically, because people might be wondering where they can buy Greek food or Greek products, or which Greek stores they can visit inside their own country, inside Russia. But the dynamics that we see here year over year shows that the interest in Greece in general, in Greek culture, is growing, and these are the clear signs that Greece in general, Greek culture, Greek business are of great interest for Russian users. So if you are not targeting that market and at the same time you can, that might be a good thing considering it in the next year. Thank you. If you have questions, I can answer them right now, because I'll have to leave maybe in half an hour.